Creation is about allowing. Creation is about allowing. Creation is about allowing. Time is not numbers that, tick through space, but time is in our energy patterns and cycles that literally move the tides of the oceans. Time is truly energy patterns and cycles that move the waves of the ocean, that assist with the rise and the setting of the sun. Time is truly energy, our energy patterns, energy cycles. And where do the energy patterns and energy cycles come from? From within. From within. So we project the energy patterns and cycles onto our reality. And that's truly what time is. And we took it and made it like a social construct, like a very flat understanding of reality. Therefore, we race and try to beat this clock, beat time, do things before we die. When we're the creators of death. We're the creators of how the cycles of energies and patterns move in our reality. We're the creators of time. We created the notion of finite or death. Death is a mirror to our perception of finite or scarcity. Everything in creation or reality or the oneness of all things or God is infinite or a wellspring of potentials. That's what God is. God is a wellspring of potentials, possibilities, infinite potentials and possibilities. That's what creation is, a wellspring of infinite potentials and possibilities. That's what we are. That's what you are. That's what I am. An infinite potential of a wellspring of potentials and possibilities. We access potentials and possibilities through our understandings of what is. As our understandings of what is produce the thoughts in which we think, the thoughts in which we think project our reality. The energies in which we embody project our reality. As thoughts are knowledge, and knowledge truly is energy. Anything that we think it's an energy that we perceive as a thought. Where did finite come from? Our understandings of reality, our perception of finite or death, beating a clock, beating time. When we inverse that, we are the creators of time. When we understand that there's nowhere to be, there's nowhere to go, but to harness your own energies to attract and manipulate your own reality, to align yourself with your highest potentials or your God self, your goddess self. You then wield knowledges or energies to create your reality. We have a long-running culture of the human being of planet Earth being a culture of capitalism, economic affluence through trading, commodities, gold, silver, coffee, sugar, for equal value commodity or, however that works out. The new reality, higher dimensional living or higher consciousness living, there's less control, seemingly less control. In the old reality, you could calculate, you could write it out, you could visualize it and plan it. You could plan it. Okay, I'm trading these 7 bushels of corn for the pound of sugar. So you knew when you were going in, you knew what you were foregoing, and you knew what you were going to receive or trade for the commodity that you were foregoing. The new reality is not like that. It's like you attain the knowledge and the wisdom, and then you're gonna focus your energy and thoughts to project your reality or the energies of the reality that's within on the realm of your film. That is you, of your authenticity. I've channeled this analogy before. Everyone's authenticity is like a film And you project your film, the energies of your film, into your reality. As you garner knowledge and power and wisdom, you're going to project the energies or the frequency of your film or your truth or your authenticity. And then reality is going to move, magnetize, and adjust and synchronize in order to bring it to fruition, the scenes of your authenticity or your reality. So like you don't know specifically that, in so and so months, this is going to happen. You're going to receive a check for this much because of something that you did 10 years ago that you didn't realize was you did it 10 years ago. You kind of gave up on it. You did it 10 years ago in order to be in a space where you would have that financial backing at this point of your reality in order to do this, and this point of your reality for this, and that, and this, and this, and that. It's not just as simple as... It's more magical and it's more beautiful and it's a lot more fun and it is a lot more simple. But in our old reality that we constructed, we like to know in our brains what we're trading what for what. That's not how the new reality is. It's about trusting your truth, your authenticity, or God. Leviticus 1, the Holy Bible. Leviticus 1, the Holy Bible. Leviticus 1, the Holy Bible. Atonement or repairing, rectifying our relationships with God. Leviticus 1, atonement, bring the bull to the altar, the young bull. This has translated to humans perceiving sacrifice or fixing their relationship with God is sacrificing things, people, places, things in their reality. Humans have translated atonement with God as sacrificing people, places, and things in their reality. Humans have perceived atonement or reparation with God or rectification with God as sacrificing people, places, and things in our realities, when in all actuality, atonement is sacrificing who we thought we were, who we think we are, in order to step into new understandings, new imagery, new realizations of who we truly are, or step into more aligned understandings of the wisdom of all things, the power of all things, or more aligned understanding with the wisdom of self, the wisdom of power, more aligned understanding the wisdom of God, the wisdom of God's self. In all actuality, have 0 degrees of separation. Atonement isn't sacrificing things outside of ourselves. This is where secular and non-secular came from. Like, you have to deny your humanism when your humanism is why you're here, why you're human. You're part human because you're meant to be part human. It's not denying our humanism. It's not saying secular or non-secular. It's understanding that secular and non-secular have 0 degrees of separation. And those that are non-secular, play the game of non-secular, are only denying the wonderment and the beauty of the oneness of all things, or the wonderment and the beauty of the truth of God, higher power, higher wisdom, knowledge of self. I was watching a lady, she has a church somewhere. I think it was like Tennessee. She has a church, and her husband had passed away, and she was up in the pulpit preaching. Her husband had just passed away, and she was like, "I'm okay. I know God. I know God has a better plan, and this was God's plan. So I try not to cry. I'm okay." No, ma'am. I saw that she was hurting. I saw that she was in pain, and acknowledging your hurt and your pain is the opposite of weak. Acknowledging your hurt and your pain is experiencing the intimacy of self, or the intimacy of God. Being non-secular doesn't mean being non-human, because we are human. That's a dimension of self, is humanism. Atonement with God is atonement with self. Atonement with God is atonement with the self. Atonement with God is atonement with self. What does that mean, Ashley? When you perceive dimensions of yourself, trying your best to stay with yourself and acknowledging yourself and loving yourself and understanding what those dimensions and aspects of yourself are here to teach you. And that's how you come into higher power, higher wisdom of self, in order to glean that you are a dimension aspect of God, experiencing a dimension aspect of God, experiencing a dimension aspect of God, you're able to glean more understanding of the oneness of all things, or the oneness of creation, the oneness of God. I have channeled before in the Kingdom Things podcast content entitled Humans Ashamed to Be Human plus Galactic Experiment. The video is available on YouTube and Spotify. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and follow on Spotify to keep up with all things Kingdom Things podcast, all things the journey to a healed, balanced humanity. I channeled on the Kingdom Things podcast content video entitled Humans Ashamed to Be Human plus Galactic Experiment, that the universe, the stars, the planets, it's a concept within creation, or a concept within God. And God has limitless, God is an amalgamation of limitless concepts, right? Understandings and schematics beyond our precepts of understanding and beyond our precepts to perceive, because these understandings are human, a planet Earth haven't been exposed to. So it's a synapse gap to explain much of beyond the universe, in which my ancestors channeled through me to call it the great beyond. So it's a synapse gap for the human being of planet Earth, for us to understand the great beyond, as we have only perceived planets, stars, gases, within our concept, or our creation's concept, the human's creation's concept, being, the universe. The universe is. So I channeled that we reside in a concept within God or creation, the oneness of God of creation, and this concept being the universe is less than 1 to 2% of the totality of God or creation, the Creator. And as well, I also channeled in that transmission that when we look into our sky and we see the stars and the planets, that the stars and planets and what we see in our sky is only, less than 1 to 2% of what's actually projected in our reality. And the reason that we can only see, the stars, we can only see what we see when we look into the sky is because we can only perceive within our sky that in which we can perceive within ourselves. So we only perceive less than 1 to 2% of what's in our sky because, we have only thus far in our generation of the human being of planet Earth, perceived 1 to 2% of self, the truth of self, the authenticity of self. What is karma? Karma are the energies that go into the makings of us. How does karma get to the planet in order to allow for the sculpting or the makings of us? Us being the human beings of planet Earth. Creation is birthed into the planet. How is creation birthed into the planet Earth? As the planet Earth is its own concept. The human being of planet Earth is its own concept, dwelling on its host planet, Mother, Father, Gaia, or Earth. The human being of planet Earth is its own concept of God's creation, dwelling on its host planet Earth, or Father, Mother, Gaia. The human being of planet Earth is its own concept within the oneness of God, or within the oneness of creation, dwelling on the host planet, Father, Mother, Gaia, or commonly known as planet Earth. So, the concept of the human being is cultivated and incubated and grown and evolved on its host planet, Father, Mother, Gaia, planet Earth. How does the karmic energies in which shape, mold, and grow and evolve the human being of planet Earth get to the host planet, that is Father, Mother, Gaia, the human being of planet Earth, through, we call it procreation, through procreation or birth of energies through ancestral lineages of the human being of planet Earth. I have channeled from my Akashic knowing, or the oneness of all things, or God, that there are 24 time capsules, what God calls time capsules, incarnated on planet Earth in human form, human bodies. 24 time capsules, which are 12 twin flame couples or divine counterparts or gods and goddesses in human form that incarnated on the planet, energies that incarnated on the planet, energies in which are able to access any dimension and aspect of God's creation incarnated on the planet in order to assist with the evolution of the human consciousness. Why did God do this? So as I channeled previously in this podcast entitled Time Warrior, Kingdom Things podcast entitled Time Warrior, subscribe to Kingdom Things podcast on YouTube, follow Kingdom Things podcast on Spotify to keep in the loop with the journey of a healed and balanced human being on planet Earth. I channeled previously on this podcast, or somewhere in this podcast entitled Time Warrior, there's a channel in regards to what's karmic energy and the conception of creation and how creation is created through karmic energies. And when we're birthed into this plane of any plane of reality, we are essentially a package of karmic energies or energies. We call it karma. We're a package of karmic energies that are being delivered to that realm of reality or that conception of God in order to assist with the alchemy of that conception of God or that reality. Why are there 24 time capsules incarnated on the planet Earth at this time? In order for the exponential ascension of the human being on planet Earth. Yeah, we know like evolution, takes time. It takes time. It does take time. God is aligning for an exponential evolution of the human being on planet Earth by incarnating the 24 time capsules in which are able to embody energies per God's alchemy to assist with the exponential ascension, evolution of the human being of planet Earth, of the human consciousness of planet Earth, of the human consciousness of planet Earth, of the human genome of planet Earth. Self-healing powwow session insert into this Kingdom Things podcast entitled Time Warrior. My whole life, I identified as my genius. For my whole life, I was validated and confirmed and rewarded for my intelligence. But in all actuality, my intelligence or my genius is God, right? But my ego took ownership of my intelligence, my genius. When I say intelligence and my genius, I'm claircognizant. I'm claircognizant like a mother. So I would just know a lot of stuff. So I would be validated in school for, getting great scores on tests and things like that. And my teachers would be so surprised. They're like, whoa, I'm claircognizant. So I just be knowing stuff. Don't ask me to show my work. I just know it, right? My personality or my ego took ownership energetically of my genius or my claircognizant abilities or my extrasensory abilities. When my extrasensory abilities or my ability to know is God or the oneness of all things. Our egos confine our identity in a box and don't allow for the proliferation of God into more dimensions or more aspects or more mediums. So it doesn't allow for flow. Whenever your ego takes ownership of something, it doesn't allow for that thing that your ego took ownership of to flow.